Hey everyone, it's Michael GoosebumpsFan. Today I'm going to be doing a review on a book from the original classic 62-book long series of Goosebumps from R.L. Stine. And of course this is one of the most well-known and well-loved books, Goosebumps the Haunted Mask. This is my, of course, reissue cover that came out in the most recent reissues. I think it was like 2015 or so when this came out, I'm not entirely sure. But I do have the original copy here, not my copy, but it is my copy, but it's a newer copy of the old book that I've never had. I think I've read this once when I was a kid. Maybe started it and I didn't finish it, something like that, because I loved the TV VHS episode that I saw at Hollywood Video when I was growing up, which is what got me into Goosebumps. As much as I love Night of the Living Dummy 3, I'm pretty sure that Haunted Mask is what I actually watched that got me into Goosebumps and started trying out all the other VHS tapes that were out there. But I read this cover right here. I read this book last year. I didn't upload a review for it because I just didn't like my review, I guess. I don't really know what to tell you. I deleted it, well, when I did upload the video and I deleted it. And then, like I said, I wanted to reread it for this Halloween and have a really fresh take for you guys. I love the original cover too. I think both, including this reissue cover, are just really special. I really, really love this new reissue cover because of how much it's a loving, respectable cover to this original cover. I love it. It's really cool. The story itself is great. Last year when I read this, I did not love it as much as I originally thought I would. This time rereading it, whatever you want to call it, I liked it more, a lot more, and I actually had a lot more fun reading it. I read it in like 2 days. I finished it up today, and it was great. It was a blast. Here's the VHS tape, not the one I got from Hollywood Video when that was still open, but I bought this not too long ago. Talked about it on one of my book haul, DVD, Blu-ray, whatever hauls. And I'm really excited to have this. I can't wait to try to rewatch it. Hopefully the VHS tape will work. Sometimes you buy stuff and it doesn't work on VHS tapes in general. So I'm not entirely sure. But I love this book. I had such a good time reading it this time. This is easily one of the best of the Haunted Mask series. There's 4 of these books at the current moment. I've constantly said over and over again, probably my favorite Goosebumps book is the 4th book, Goosebumps Wanted, The Haunted Mask. That was supposed to be the Most Wanted book series. I guess it was supposed to be called just Wanted, not Most Wanted. But they started that, and it was like one of the first Goosebumps hardcovers to ever be released in the modern era, you know, so that was pretty cool. I love Goosebumps Wanted, The Haunted Mask. I actually think it's a lot bloodier and scarier than even this book for that matter, but this book itself has some genuinely creepy and just scary stuff about it that I think any reader who happens to be younger, that hasn't experienced this and hasn't experienced the TV movie episode 2-parter thing from the old 90s show, you're not gonna know what you're getting your hands into, man. This book was so creepy, man. It really gets to you, and the TV episode gets to you, and they're both so similar, but kind of a little bit different at the same time, so I really had a great time getting to see both in different lights at different times in my life. But anyway, what is The Haunted Mask about? Number one, it's probably the R.L. Stine treasure gem of the original classic series. It has everything. It's not just your typical entertaining novel, or kid's novel for that matter. It has kind of a theme that runs through it about just love and things done in love, deeds in love. And it works so well, and how people take that kind of thing for granted. I love the book. It has so much to say about things like that. It's just a wonderful book, plain and simple. It's one of R.L. Stine's best books I've ever read. It's going to be really hard one of these days if I get the chance, God willing, to read all the books this October and review them and do a series ranking video thing. I'm going to be honest with you, it's going to be really hard to rank these because they're so good. All of them are good, especially this one. But still, yeah, this is amazing. Anyway, getting around to the plot itself, I'm so scatterbrained because I had such a good time reading this time around. But anyway, getting back into the review and what it's actually about. The Haunted Mask is essentially about a girl who may very well be the best Goosebumps main character, protagonist, whatever you want to call her, ever, across the board, whether it be with the films or whether it be with the books or the comics or anything. Carly Beth. Carly Beth is a sweet young girl who is terrified of absolutely everything. Everyone on the planet, including her best friend Sabrina, scares her all the time. She has 2 other friends named Chuck and Steve, and Chuck and Steve are not really mean per se, but they like to take advantage of the fact that this young girl that they're friends with, they might even think is just a cute girl, is always scared of everything. If you just jump out behind a tree and say boo, she's gonna jump and probably pee herself. So they take advantage of that a lot of the time throughout the book. The book actually opens up with a really horrific prank that I don't think I've ever seen done in anything, as far as I know. As much bullying as there are in films and books, just in the entertainment industry in general, I've never seen what they did here. R.L. Stine is sick. He's just sick. He's giving kids some bad ideas for stuff. But even so, that's not the point. So Carly Beth decides she's tired of being the victim. Her mother was actually going to make a really cool, like, chicken costume for her this year, or a duck costume is what it was. Sorry, it was a duck costume. And wanted to do it out of love for her. But her mother also has this weird hobby she's doing right now where she's working with, like, ceramics and stuff like that. And she made this, like, something, it's like really creepy head. It looks just like Carly Beth's face and head. And it looks real, right? It's like a little statue head thing. And she did it in love for this daughter of hers. And she also has a son, of course, named Noah, Carly Beth's brother. And he also, of course, even being younger than her, picks on her all the time, constantly tortures Carly Beth with just fear and scares her all the time, jump scares her and stuff. But Carly Beth this year is tired of being the victim. She wants to go out and get the scariest costume, or at the very least a mask that she can get from this new local party store that opened up for Halloween time. Because she wants to scare other people. She wants to know what it feels like to be on the other side of the table for once. And so she has her life savings, which is $30, which is pitiful. She was like 11 in the book. So, yeah, I get it. Life savings, $30, whatever. And she ends up going out to the store one day after school. And she looks around inside of the store when the owner lets her in, even though it was past time and the store was supposed to be closed. This owner, who's very much like a Vincent Price type guy, like if this was made around the time Vincent Price was still alive, I think it would have been really cool to have him play this character. He would have been such a cool cameo to have in Goosebumps, and especially here, because the shop owner has like a little pencil-thin mustache and a certain way he combed his hair. It's Vincent Price, man. It totally is. No one ever talks about that. I've never heard anybody mention that until I read it this time around and saw the description of the guy. But anyway, Vincent Price guy lets her into the store that he owns, and she looks around and she's not really terribly impressed with what she sees on the walls. There's like a gorilla mask and a Freddy Krueger mask and stuff like that. She's not really impressed with that. And the owner's kind of getting a little pushy and wants her to hurry up, right? And so all of a sudden the phone rings, and she ends up taking just a lot of time looking around. She ends up finding a door in the back of the store and looks in there, and there's a bunch of masks in a row. And they're terrifying. They're absolutely horrifying. Just the look of them, they look like they're kind of alive, honestly. They don't even look like masks. They look like skin, like faces and stuff. But they're like green, and they have, like, one of them has like something going through its eye and stuff. You know, it's just really, really wild stuff. And she comes up to one in particular that has like a greenish, yellowish type skin to it. Has pointy ears, big old rubbery fangs. And she's just obsessed with this thing. She keeps getting, like, pulled in, like, attracted to this thing, and wants to know, like, if she can buy that, even though it's tucked away in a back room. The store owner comes in and says he can't give it to her. He explains to her there's just a lot of baggage that goes along with this he can't really tell her about right now. Well, then she slowly persuades him to give her the mask. And so she gets the mask, unlike in the TV episode where she, like, steals it and runs out of the store. She gets it from him, and she leaves. And of course it's Halloween night. And when she wears this mask, when she puts it on, it kind of changes her whole personality. It does something to her that nobody can really figure out. Her voice even changes. It becomes very deep and gruff, if you will. She almost has the voice that I have, but kind of in a menacing way, I guess. Kind of like in a bestial way. And it kind of scares people, honestly. And she starts to notice that the mask is really, really tight, and it actually doesn't even feel like rubber. It feels like skin, right? It's such a cool concept for the mask, and then what takes place after this portion of the story, after what I just told you, which is like the first 30 or 40 pages of the book. I know for 120 pages I just told you a lot, but I wanted you to know the general premise for what you're getting into with this book, and why it's so special. Carly Beth is so relatable, and she's such a loving, sweet character. I usually don't talk about characters unless it's a monster or a villain when it comes to Goosebumps books, because typically the human characters are just recycled, the same old two-dimensional character over and over again. And I'm fine with that. I don't mind that at all. Carly Beth stands out so much in this book. I love her. I think she's a fantastic character, easily one of the best, whether it be villains or heroes characters, of Goosebumps as a saga and franchise ever. She's amazing. And then the girl in the TV episode that plays her is fantastic, too. I love that TV episode. I love this book, too. I like the TV episode more, I think, than this actual book, as good as this book is. But it just has so much to offer. It is such a fun type of book. It's creepy, it's eerie, there are things in here that you will never see in any other kid's book or movie or TV show or anything like that. And it will probably scar you, especially if you haven't been used to seeing some of the scarier sides of Goosebumps books from R.L. Stine. This is tormenting in times, and it's fantastic. I love it to death, and it's something that I could recommend to absolutely everyone. And I'm glad I reread it this time and didn't just throw up a review from where I read it last year. This is really good. This is really fun. It's creepy. It's spooky. It feels like fall. It feels like Halloween, and that's what really adds an atmosphere to it that no one talks about and no one gives it credit for as a movie, or as a book, excuse me. R.L. Stine really, for such a short amount of time, 120 pages with a really big font on these pages, the fact that he can really capture the feeling of Halloween is just amazing to me. It just shows how much of a talented writer he is, especially as a children's author here, where you don't really get a whole lot of time to describe things because kids' attention spans are very small. And even the bullies, you know, Steve and Chuck, I like them too. They're just fun. They're not mean in the sense of just being like straight up bullies, but they're cool kids. I like them. I think that they're neat as characters that are kind of just not straight up bullies, but they're friends that are kind of rude to Carly Beth. Carly's mom, I love the things involving her in the story. Sabrina, the best friend, I like things involving her. Noah, the younger brother's not really too much in the story, but I like when he's in here. But Carly Beth is really special, and I love it. I love the idea of the mask, the whole thing that comes from this mask, this whole predicament that Carly Beth finds herself in is just amazing. It is just such a cool, different type of story that you're never going to want to see anything like this done anywhere else, with a book or a movie or anything like that. I think that if you haven't experienced Haunted Mask, whether it be the TV episode 2-parter thing, whether it be this book, any of the other books, if you haven't experienced this kind of story before, this one in particular, I think you're going to love it. I think you'll never want to celebrate Halloween again without it. I think it'll always be like a tradition for you and your family because of how much fun it was. If you're a younger reader, again, I do recommend being careful because this is very creepy. It has its very scary moments in it. Even though I think the 4th book wanted the Haunted Mask, I think that's way more terrifying than this book is, but this has a lot to offer too. This is so good. It's just absolutely a fantastic read. If I had to rate the Haunted Mask on a 5-star basis, it would easily give it a 5 out of 5. It is just such a fantastically powerful, theme-focused book and character-focused book, especially with Carly Beth herself and what she's going through, and even the creation of the monster itself, the mask. What is this thing? Why does it have these supernatural abilities where it's possibly controlling Carly Beth? It's really fascinating. I love the lore behind the masks. It's great. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic, and I couldn't recommend it enough to you if you haven't read The Haunted Mask. Check it out. Check out the sequels. Again, there's 4 books in total, so what are your thoughts on The Haunted Mask, guys? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. And happy Halloween. Please be careful, guys, if you go out trick-or-treating this year or anything. If you happen to watch this video on Halloween, be careful. Be cautious. Don't trust anyone. Anyway, may the Lord Jesus Christ bless you guys today, and goodbye.